we're here and everything broke. Oh my God, it broke way worse than we even imagined. So everything here is completely out of place. Holy, that arm is perfectly straight still, but everything else is not. So if you come over here, the diff bushing is completely cracked in a couple spots. So diff is completely offset. This is bent. This is very much not straight anymore. Oh my God. Just the view from this. I mean, I almost cut into my fuel, like, I don't know if that's fuel breather, but I'm pretty sure it's my fuel breather line and my fuel like filler neck line, I guess. But like, holy. I'll have to take it down, wipe it out, see if there's anything. I'm just curious if I fill the car up with gas, if it's just gonna seep out something over here. But like, goddamn, that broke everything. I've just never seen a subframe get torn in half almost. So snap right into it, you know? Like you can see now where these two teeth, this one's cracked, this one is just dent. I mean, it's still fine, still has holes in it, but it didn't, they're definitely warped. Everyone, these two are pushed out a little bit, these two are, this one's pushed in, this one's gone. And it's weird though, because my bolts don't look loose at all.
Your casing got a bite out of it too. Hopefully that doesn't leak.
Oh, that's just, I don't have a speed sensor anymore, probably.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can, once you drop it, I can replace that, but I was already going to swap diffs, to be honest. I just need one to work, because I'm gonna push this out just so I have the one, and then I'm going to find the exact gear ratio for this by turning this one axle and then seeing how much the drive shaft moves. So, you know, if I move this 4 times and that, I mean, if this 4 times before this thing moves once, it's a 4-to-1, you know? So I'm going to have to figure out what ratio this is so that I can have a spare. Because this thing, I'm not, it would probably be fine. But like, better be safe than sorry. So, yeah. That sucks. Granted, I shouldn't have to get an alignment if I have one of these arms. So, I mean, this joint inside might be screwed up. Not on the actual arm, but like the two little like pilot.
Heim joints?
Not the Heim joint itself, but the two things that insert into the Heim to get the actual like alignment tightened up. Those might be a little pooched. Holy, I can't wait to drop this tomorrow. I mean, shout out to Voodoo 13, built some stout arms. Shout out to Kenda for being too grippy, I guess. I have no idea, dude, that's nuts. One clutch kick, and this is what happens. I just really hope nothing's bad with my lines. I mean, granted, we have other spare cars. That's what we're actually gonna do after I take the subframe down. I'm gonna clean it, try to dump some fuel into it. We have this car, if anything, I can drop the subframe and get whatever parts I need off of that. So, holy. But on good news, come over here. This is the project, I guess you could say. So through Copart and IA, we do, you know, parting out KP&R race, KP&R cost parts and racing. We picked this up recently, maybe like 2.5, 3 weeks ago now. Probably, yeah, 3 weeks ago. It's got a fat Pro Charger on it. It had a receipt in the back of the trunk to a shop down in Chicago, and I messaged the guys down there, and they were more than happy to get back to me. I found the dude's information from just some papers in the car, gave him the information of the guy, and found out this is a built bottom end, Wisco pistons, and I forget what rods.
Manly?
Manly, yeah. Manly rods, Wisco pistons. Completely, this was built in the end of 2019, or early 2019, end of 2018. It was first built earlier in 2018, but it basically was flipping on the dyno because of the clutch wasn't able to hold it all. So apparently that was in April. So in December, so like, you know, 8 months later, the guy decided to completely rebuild the whole engine from the ground up. So again, block up build, built the bottom end, which is super nice. And I don't have any dyno numbers, but this thing is pretty rowdy. I'll insert the clip of us starting it for the first time here. And I mean, yeah, it's really exciting because if the blue car blows up or the daily silver 350Z blows up, this is what we're going to throw into it. Depending on which car blows up first is basically what we decide on what we're going to build further for like more competition stuff, just because of the fact that that has 100,000 miles on the motor, but I abuse it. The other car has 150 on the motor, but it always has issues and it leaks a lot. So we'll see whichever one blows up first, but whichever one does blow up first, this is going to be at least the start of the build for the drivetrain of whatever we're going to go with. Obviously the smarter choice would be, oh, just do an LS swap, oh, just put the JZ into it. We have it. It's a fully built, basically bottom end up engine that probably only has maybe 10,000 miles on it. It doesn't leak at all. I've seen underneath the car. It's completely clean. The car was destroyed on this side. What happened is that the dude broke loose, hit a wall, and then he hit it before, like on the wheel or before the wheel, and then it just sucked the rest of the car in. So the door, fender, side skirts, everything on the driver's side was completely smashed in. But drivetrain wise, completely fine. Yeah, I mean, it just looks super sick. Sounds even better. Granted, it's dead, but it'll be fun once we pull it out. I just gotta be very careful. I mean, also, I know the fuel system was upgraded. They told me that they did that in 2018 again. So everything just wire-wise and, you know, ECU-wise, plumbing-wise, I gotta just be very careful and taking it apart so that I can reassemble it. But definitely really exciting. It's one of those things where it's like you don't want a car to blow up, but I mean, as a spare engine for season, I think this is one of the coolest things you could have. So yeah, I mean, don't crash your cool cars or else I'm gonna steal the engines out of them. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, overall, the chassis on this car only had 70,000 on it. So for an 03, super low mile of a car. So it's kind of a shame, but at least it's gonna see new life here. Like, I'm keeping the passenger fender, passenger door. I'll sell the hatch. Anyone wants some Sparko seats, please take those for dirt cheap. Send me an offer, I'll give you them for like nothing. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna lose money on the car, but I also get this really cool engine package, which is really sick. So stay tuned for that. We did this off screen just because of the fact of how annoying it was. We got poly bushings for the diff and the subframe mounts. Definitely Z1 diff mounts, and then energy suspension diff or subframe mounts. You can see how much of a difference this is. This is, you know, 3 fingers in between. Come over here. Granted, still 3 fingers in between, but this is supposed to be way out here. So yeah, I'm just still so surprised about how the hell happened. But yeah, this was such pain. We ended up pressing out the inner collar of the bushing, and then my tip is to cut the outer collar. Oh, hi. All right, so the center one for the diff sucked. Z1 makes a press kind of for it, or like a kit for it. I used it for the inner collar. The outer collar didn't really want to go in. It was actually binding sideways, which really sucked. So we ended up having to cut out the brass insert, but then we also ended up cutting the, you know, just the metal collar like this. For the subframe bushings themselves, though, we used a press to ram these out until they failed. That also sucked a lot, but once we got these out, it was basically just this empty outer collar. The best way to do that is to just cut it in half, really. best way I saw it would be cutting towards the subframe. I forget which corner it was, but we ended up cutting on the outer portion, which kind of sucked due to the fact that it's like, we ended up cutting too deep and then started cutting actually into the subframe, which, I mean, granted it's still strong subframe or not, up for you to interpret that, but it just sucks because you don't want to ever cut out, you know, anything around here. You always want to cut at least towards more material. So I would always recommend, if you're cutting your outer collars, cut towards, you know, between here, just so that you have, if you cut through it, you still have a lot of strength around the subframe. So that's all I really have for that. This really sucked. Granted, there's a million videos on YouTube to help you if you need that, but I mean, I have another subframe that will probably end up cutting them out again. It's just one of those things where you do it once, you hope it never has to break, but when you do it that one time, it sucks. So, but hey, got done. So the subframe is all ready for this. It's just, I'll get up tomorrow and then video this whole thing getting disassembled, and then hope that nothing is out of the ordinary. We're not going to get an alignment before DD101, DD101, USair, whatever you want to call it. Dude, you can even see it bent these bolts. Actually, you can see them separate right at the diff a little bit, just enough to where, I mean, it'll still come out, but that's still pretty prevalent. It's crazy. Souvenir. I'm gonna keep this for a bit, but yeah. We're not going to get in alignment. We'll get in alignment before next event, D-Day 86. So hopefully that car is maybe ready for a D-Day soon. The 240 has a cracked coolant line to the turbo, and it has a super leaky power steering rack, which is what made that little mess down there. And it's been leaking for about a couple days now. Shout out to Omar, parted out on Instagram. He is getting me a front bumper and the rack, so that's really nice. He's also giving me a set of calipers so that I can actually start running a hydro in it. We have drop knuckles for it that are GK Tech's dual caliper drop knuckle, so I'm super excited for that. That car is gonna be so rowdy. It's just needing to run consistently for longer than one day, but it's more just me being super picky about me being like, oh, it's gotta be perfect, let's do it correct the first time. So we'll see how that goes. I hate it all the time, but then you look at it and then you fall in love with it again. But, yeah, so we'll get working on this and then working on that. After these two cars are done and solid, Logan's gonna be doing his rotary swap in here. I'm gonna try to give him as much space as possible just so he can get it done as quickly as possible. And then after that, or during that, I'm gonna be working on the red Miata, hopefully getting the engine pulled, rebuilt for the most part. It's not really a full rebuild, but it's basically just a really full refresh. We're gonna basically take it down the bare block and then just do all the seals over. So that'll be really fun. Then hopefully get a 3-stage paint correction, and then the red Miata's back alive. So that'll be really fun. Kayla's waiting for her, what's it called? The part, the igniter kind of thing.
It's some sort of module. Ignition module.
Ignition module for her coil and plug conversion, and then we'll see if she needs new harness or not. Cross fingers, that's all it is. So yeah, everyone's working here, but this sucks. I don't want to do it, so see you tomorrow. So we're back at it. I got both subframes lined up. Obviously I went ahead and dropped it. God, that's bent. I already started disassembling it, but yeah, all we're doing is going to be disassembling the diff, and then basically just taking every knuckle assembly with hopefully almost every arm attached and just immediately swap it over. Try to change nothing up, make sure every bolt goes where it's supposed to go. But I always wanted to do this, so that was a bad snap. Over here. And we're back. This is the next day. I decided to finish this up and then just take it for the night. Probably worked until 5 something-ish. But we got everything swapped over. The only thing I couldn't really find is this stupid little plastic bit. It's broken on the other side, so I just zip tied over here. And this really doesn't do anything. It only is like has like 2 little pilot like studs for the support brackets. So on this side, I just zip tied across the whole thing. And once the subframe's in, everything's bolted. I'm just gonna cut this and take it out. But I'm trying to find these just because I can't find them anywhere. And I would just buy like, 20 of them just to have them on hand forever. But I'm not gonna rerun this axle because I just don't trust it as much. That car had beautiful axles, so I'm gonna swap off of those. And I honestly think I just didn't have these torqued to spec, which is why the whole thing's sheared apart. Obviously, I can't confirm that, but that's like my hypothesis. So I did swap filler necks just because this was slightly mangled and this line was completely bent. So, it's probably perfectly fine. But again, we have a donor car for a reason. So that's in there now. So all nice, tidied up. So yeah, so time to put this thing in. All right, it's up. Oh my God, am I stupid? All right, so the inner metal collar is a slow rod, right? This is what holds it up on the for the back. I knew that obviously because I wouldn't forget this. I bolted this up without having this bracket on, and I was like, why is the bolt or the nut just going straight through the whole cylinder basically, and there's only pushing up the metal rod and like the bushing's not doing anything? And then I literally looked it up, couldn't find anything. I'm like, what am I missing? Am I being stupid right now? And then out of nowhere, I just looked in the corner of my eye and it was down there. And I was like, oh, this holds it up. So the subframe is now up. All I need to do is do the coil to the knuckle, reattach the brake calipers, do my e-brake lines. And then from there, do the drive shaft, do the exhaust, and and the W plate. Don't forget the W plate. But yeah, oh my God, was that so annoying that I forgot all about that. So don't forget to put these on when you're redoing your subframe. Jeez. Also on a sad note, no alignment for, 1 second. Come on, there we go. No alignment for this weekend. Everyone's booked out. Middle of next month, I'm gonna go down to Tailgate Factory and get it aligned. So that's good. It's just, I'm so happy. I was really worried. I was like, what am I missing? Am I not gonna be able to make it for Saturday? So yeah, let's wrap it up. All right, so thanks to my girlfriend, it was easier to get the Y pipe on and everything. Exhaust is mounted up. Swap the diff fluid with Royal Purple, just gear oil. She got soaked, unfortunately, but it's fine. Yeah, so everything's mounted up. W plate's up. The hell? You want a positive battery terminal plug? I don't know. Yeah, so we're ready. We're just gonna put on the Titans. It'll be the first time Titans are actually on this car, so that's super good, super exciting. We're gonna probably do some donuts on the street tomorrow just to test and tune because I don't want shit to break. And so don't tell the cops, I guess. But yeah, besides that, everything should be good. Haven't missed anything. Kayla's gonna be looking at the oil cooler. Oil cooler is leaking out of one of the ports, sadly. Nothing major. I think it just needs some Teflon tape or something like that to stop it. We'll be loading up tomorrow. Today's Thursday, so we still got 2 days before anything. Also, different news. This is unrelated to this car. The Silver Z that we've been working on forever. I'm gonna pull the plug on it. It just has some weird hit and miss issues that I just can't figure out. I don't really care to figure them out. And so we're gonna be throwing the supercharger kit into that car, the whole engine and package and everything. That's gonna be a big project. I'm not gonna work on that for another maybe 2 weeks. First off is get this car done, and then I gotta work on my brother's girlfriend's car, and then we'll be working on the 240 again. So you'll see a couple videos on that. And then after the 240 either Logan's gonna be working in his car on the lift, or I'll be doing the silver car. I can do it on the lift or off the lift. It really doesn't matter to me. It's just easier on the lift always. So yeah, looks good. Not a bent subframe anymore. Cleaned up everything. Should be good. So you'll probably see the next video or next little update on tomorrow after we load up.